My atheist friends, I want to bring out 2 points. This week, a flotilla came to try to break Israel's blockade of Gaza. And because Israel tried to take over the ships, and their men were brutally attacked, they were forced to use deadly force. Who criticized them? The nations of Europe. The fact that the Turks criticized them doesn't mean a hill of beans. Turks murdered 1.5 million Armenians and are still claiming to the rest of the world that the Armenians murdered them. So it's nothing astounding that an Islamic nation will accuse Israel of murderous acts when they're the perpetrators of murder. Look what happened with Ahmadinejad with the elections in Persia, in Iran. How many tens of thousands of people were murdered? Nobody says anything. Nobody demands an investigation. Nobody demands that Iran be thrown out of the United Nations. Only Israel. Because Israel has a blockade against a terror organization which is dedicated to destroying Israel. Israel's got the full right to protect itself. The flotilla had some well-meaning people, but they're stupid. But who are the people that are supporting it? Atheists. The atheist nations. The ones that you say are non-violent. Of course they're not violent. They can't stand up. They have no guts. They have no beitzim. They can't stand up to evil. Islamofascism is evil. They can't stand up to it. Israel, only nation standing up to Islamofascism, they're the ones that are terrible. What are the Islamofascists like? What would they do to the atheist? What would they do to the Christian if they had the power? Well, look what they've done. Killed tens of thousands of people. There isn't almost a conflict in the entire world that doesn't have Islamofascists behind it. And yet, the atheist nations, the peace-loving, the ones with values, as you say, yes, they have it all messed up because an atheist has no basis for his morals. His morals are based upon feelings, and the feelings can be bought by oil. It's number one. Number two, I told you that everything in the world has a beginning point. Every event starts from somewhere. And if you go back infinite events, those events will also have a beginning. That means it's impossible for there to have been an infinity of these types of events. So there has to be a beginner who's beyond beginning or end, which is something you can't understand. And I agree with you, it's something you can't understand. But it's an inescapable conclusion. There has to be a beginner. And the beginner can't have a beginning. A beginner has to be truly infinite. What does infinite really mean? Infinite doesn't mean infinitely large, because if you're infinitely large, you can't deal with the finite. Just like you can't pat an amoeba on the head, because your fingers are too big, and you can't even see it. True infinity relates to the finite, the smallest, as well as the infinite, as well as the largest. To quote a now deceased orthodox mathematician on the highest level, it's alpha to the alpha power. It's infinity to the infinite power, the infinite power of all possibilities. And we can't understand this, yes, but it's an inescapable conclusion that that's where all things come from. And I know that that's kind of hard for the atheist to swallow. But think about it. And have a good Shabbos, my friends. I love you anyway.